Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast. Welcome back to Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast. It's Monday, January 29th. This is episode 71. I'm Matt Roy. This is Don Harris. Chuck McIntyre out today.
Chuck's too afraid of the cold.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Arctic tundra in here. So it's basically like, remember the Chiefs-Dolphins game a couple of weeks ago? It's like that in here.
But, Chuck is the most cold-friendly person I know. Like, he loves it when it's like -4.
Well, he's lived in Green Bay and all those.
He likes that.
He moved around a lot, so I'm sure that he's used to it. I lived in Colorado and I lived in Illinois, and I never got used to it. It was just cold sucks.
I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and here.
Both hot.
Well, I went to college in Dallas, and it got a little cold there. We had some snow, but nothing like, up north.
Well, it's going to be a cold day in Detroit and Baltimore because they did not succeed this weekend. We'll get into the conference championship games. Plus, Spurs are getting hot right at the right time. I mean, I guess there's no bad time.
Warm. They're getting warm.
Two games in a row, Don. All right, don't be the wet blanket here.
I think they win. I think they win tonight too.
All right. Well, we'll get to that in a couple minutes, but as always, we start with our number game. It is number 71 today. So not the best numbers as we get through this, as we continue to say, but one that I found interesting, Alex Karras.
That was the first one that came to my mind.
Yep. Defensive tackle for the Lions, fitting Lions guy. But one thing I didn't know is that he was missed 63 due to a gambling suspension from the league.
I did not remember that. But he was a heck of an actor and had a great career in television after he retired from football.
He was also a wrestler.
I believe that.
So this is what I got from when I was looking it up. After threatening to retire rather than give up his bar ownership, which was involved in a gambling ring, Karras admitted to placing bets on NFL games and suspended by the league along with Green Bay Packers running back Paul Hornung.
Yeah, I remember that.
During his exile, Karras returned to pro wrestling, taking on a memorable character as Dick Bruiser. Sorry, Dick the Bruiser. We'll just leave that there. Anyway, so Alex Karras is one. Trent Williams, another one that came to mind. We can also go to Josh Hader. Josh Hader, the now new closer for the Houston Astros.
Yep.
He will continue his 71 there with the Stros. You came up with David Robinson. David Robinson scoring 71. What day was that again?
Last day of the regular season, 1994. Beat Shaq for the scoring title.
Yep, and beat the Clippers that day, right? In the old LA Forum.
Sports Arena.
Yeah, right. Rundown
piece of crap arena. Was.
Yeah. And then in 1971, January 17th, Colts beat the Cowboys 16-13. Chuck Howley, the MVP, only MVP from a losing team in NFL
First
history.
Super Bowl I ever remember watching.
How old are you?
Six.
Yeah. October 13th, Pirates won the World Series, 4-3 series over the Orioles. What a year for Baltimore, because the Bucks then beat the Baltimore Bullets 4-0, or swept them in the NBA championship that year.
Yeah, Kareem's second year in the league.
So you have the Baltimore Colts, the Baltimore Orioles, and the Baltimore Bullets all in their respective World Series or Finals games, championship series.
And Lou Alcindor was his name then. He changed it the next year, I believe, to Kareem. It was his second year in the league, which is one of the – Tim Duncan won his championship in his second year. Magic won his first as a rookie, but not a lot of great superstars won as rookies. Magic's the only one that comes to mind.
Right. And then actually I think D. Wade won his second year in the league, I believe. I think it was his second year when they got Shaq.
Yeah.
And then June 28th, 1971, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously overturned the draft evasion conviction of Muhammad Ali.
Great story. There's a documentary about the decision, about how the court came to go unanimous the other way, because the early straw poll of the judges when they were hearing that case, it looked like it was going to go the other way against Muhammad Ali, but a clerk who worked for one of the justices found an interesting correlation and precedent from another religion that also did not believe in war and had been granted draft, whatever it is, waiver. And I think it was a Seventh-day Adventist maybe. And it turned a couple of justices, and as they continued to argue, they still had some hardline righties on that court that did not want to grant it. But as they got momentum, even the Chief Justice signed off on it and was unanimous for Ali.
It's
a great documentary.
Really, really interesting too that even happened. Like you look back at some of the things that happened in sports history and just history in general, and you're just like, oh wow,
how many millions of dollars did he give up?
Right. So let's get to conference championship takeaways. We'll start with the loser, the Ravens, the first loser, and then we'll get to the Lions and Niners a little bit later. We'll have plenty of time to talk about the Chiefs, and we'll get to them in a little bit as well. But I want to talk about the Ravens first. They lost to the Chiefs as 4.5-point favorites at home, 17-10. 3 points only scored in the second half. It was just a Justin Tucker field goal, kind of a slog of a game after the early scoring started. But the Ravens, I mean, they had the best team in the league all year. They destroyed good teams all year long. They destroyed the Niners, destroyed the Dolphins, destroyed almost everyone in their path. And then they come out and just basically get run out of the building and really beat up. I tweeted out yesterday, the Chiefs were playing bully ball all game long. And this is a Ravens team that loves to punch you in the mouth and almost did multiple times, literally punch people in the mouth yesterday. But they couldn't get anything going on the offensive defensive lines.
I think what stood out to me was how thoroughly they were outcoached, especially in the offensive game. You can easily come out and say that Lamar Jackson, for all his MVP status, was not clutch. He looked lost. They looked awful offensively. But I put some of that on his offensive coordinator because Steve Spagnuolo of the Chiefs just had them bamboozled with the blitz. And it seemed like they went away from whatever they wanted to do and just kept pass attempt after pass attempt, drop back when they were like the best running team in the league all year, or one of them.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
They just abandoned the run, and he dropped him back and find somebody, and he recovered.
It didn't make any sense. Guess how many rushing attempts they had with their running backs yesterday? Just 6. 6. The Ravens ran the ball with their running backs 6 times. 6.
Awful.
For the best running team in the league, a team that against a team in the Chiefs that was 27th in DVOA. And
what is that?
It's a defensive efficiency rating. So it's one of the best statistics to see like how your unit really ranks
against the run.
Against the run.
Okay.
They were 27th in DVOA against the run, and they gave up 189 yards to the. They gave 189 yards to the Bills the week before, and you come out and run it 6 times with your running backs.
I don't know why. I don't know. I just think Spagnuolo was dominant. He was great for the Chiefs. He called a brilliant game because the Ravens had no answers.
Chuck just texted me back, said he forgot. If you see Chuck running in here, that's what happened. Anyway, I didn't understand the game plan at all on the offensive side. Like, you're going to attack the strength of the
They looked
Chiefs
pretty good
instead.
on the first drive, and then they just abandoned whatever they were doing.
Yeah, and the game could have been completely different. Like if Zay Flowers didn't fumble into the end zone, or if and there was many opportunities there for that to happen. Like the Chiefs didn't look like juggernauts on offense after the first 2 drives of the game, but you had so many opportunities to get back to your game plan and get back to what you did the best all year, and you just couldn't do it or didn't want to do it either way. You just wanted it. It seemed like Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, wanted to be like, this is Lamar Jackson. He's the MVP. He's going to win it for us. And they just couldn't do it.
His guys were covered. And by the way, I went on this big rant last week about the fumble into the end zone, why it should go back to the offense, when it went out of bounds.
If it goes out of bounds, yeah.
Yesterday's a perfect example. A great strip, touchdown saving play, goes into the end zone, clear recovery by the defense, touchback, give them the ball.
Right.
If that ball scoots out of bounds in the future, through the end zone, if it goes out on the 1, put it on the 1, offense ball. If it goes out in the end zone, move it back to the 20, okay? Give it to the offense.
Right.
Or if the line of scrimmage was where it was yesterday, what was it, like the 45?
On that Zay Flowers touch? No, they were at like the 15, 20, something like that.
Then it goes back to the 20. But if, let's say they were scrimmaging from the 45 or 50-yard line, it has to go all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. Which other one's further back?
Yeah, I mean, it's a dumb rule. Let me just see real quick where they were. They were on the fumble. They were on the 8-yard line.
Okay, then it goes back to the 20.
Yeah. Either way.
Change the rule. They willed this offseason.
They will this offseason.
I fully believe it.
But either way, you look at Lamar Jackson and the game that he has. Obviously, the quarterbacks get all the pressure. The quarterbacks get all the praise, or they get destroyed in the media. And he's gonna get destroyed all offseason. They had everything in place for him. They have the best defense in the league. They have good receivers. They have a good running game. They had their tight end back. They had Marlon Humphrey back. Everything was lined up for them. They had it at home. Everything was lined up. Just like the Cowboys this year. Like everything was lined up for them to make a run. And they couldn't do it, and that falls on the quarterback.
I did not see it falling on him. He made the one bad throw that was picked off in the end zone. But I felt bad for him because they were telling him, drop back and find guys that the defense had out-chess matched the offensive coordinator, and they were completely covered up. And so there was nowhere for him to go with the football. And so I'm not going to put the blame on Lamar.
Well, what's even more crazy is Lamar Jackson had as many catches as Nelson Aguilar and like almost as many as Mark Andrews. It was a great play. It was one of the best plays of the game and shows you how much of an athlete he is. But it's just like their game plan didn't make sense on the first one.
Got out-coached.
That's one thing. Chuck, you want to come in here?
Dude, I'm so...
You're good.
Hi, it's Chuck McIntyre, ladies and gentlemen.
Cut. So anyway, let's get to the good part of that game. So the Chiefs are inevitable. They're like Thanos. They're just inevitable. At this point, I don't know why the Chiefs are ever underdogs, one. And two, at this point, they're getting to their fourth Super Bowl in 6 years.
5
years. 5 years. Trying to win back-to-back for the first time since the Patriots in 03-04. I think it's about time we start talking about the Chiefs as the Patriots, as we did with the Patriots. Like the Chiefs are the next dynasty. They have proved it time and time again.
Well, he's got 2, right?
Yeah, but
Tom Brady's got 7.
He's 28.
Yeah,
he's 28 years old.
I don't know that if he wins this one and has 3, he joins Troy Aikman on the 3rd place of all time. So you got Brady with 7, Bradshaw and Montana won 4. And then it's Troy all alone with 3. So he jumps into a very good class with Troy Aikman, who that was called a dynasty. So I got no problem calling them a dynasty if they finish.
I think they're a dynasty regardless.
Okay.
If you make it to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years, you're a dynasty.
Well, the Buffalo Bills made 4 straight and lost all 4.
Yeah, but they've won 2. They've already won 2.
But
they haven't lost all 4.
If they're 2-2, are they a dynasty?
Yes.
Okay. I would not grant them that yet. I want to see him close. I think you have to be plus 500.
Okay, I get that. So LeBron himself isn't a dynasty because he made 10 straight but only won 4.
I don't know how many has he won. 6?
LeBron?
Yeah,
4.
That's it.
Yeah, he's 4-7 in finals.
Even with the Lakers one?
Yeah, he won 2. He won 2 with the Heat. One with
no, he's not a dynasty.
One with the Cavs.
They weren't a dynasty.
So anyway,
he can still be the greatest player of all time without playing for a dynasty.
I don't see it. I look at it like this. I wouldn't put it past anybody, and I couldn't argue with anybody to say that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest best quarterback they've ever seen.
It's a lot of hyperbole there.
It's not. Because if you look at it, and I always listen to Greeny is one of the people I always listen to, and he always used to say, there's a boat and there's a goat. There's a best of all time and there's a greatest of all time, meaning the most accomplished. I think if Tom Brady is still the GOAT, unquestioned, he has all the records, he has everything.
I like that.
If you tell me that someone else is better than Patrick Mahomes, you're off your rocker. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life.
Did you see John Elway?
Yeah, he was. I mean, I'm a Broncos fan. I love John Elway.
To me, Brady is the GOAT. Elway was the boat that I had ever seen until Mahomes came along, and I'll grant you that he could be.
What about Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers, in my theory, was the boat. He was the most talented.
I don't know. Elway was really talented.
Marino too. All 3 of those guys are in the most talented quarterbacks ever. But I think Patrick is more talented than all of them. He's the better quarterback than all 3 of them.
Okay.
And
I'm not going to argue that.
And I think that if you wanted to start having a conversation, if they win this one, if you want to start having a conversation, if is he the GOAT, I'll listen to that conversation.
He's on his way. He's on his way, but he's got a long way to go.
He's got a long way to go. But I don't necessarily think he has to win 7 to be the GOAT.
But if he wins 5 or 6, then I think all of a sudden that's a very valid argument.
Yeah.
But what I like, and I'm glad you brought it up, is the GOAT in basketball is Wilt Chamberlain. And I've always maintained that Wilt was the true GOAT, but he didn't beat Russell enough because didn't have better teams than Russell had. But like yesterday, there was a stat out about I don't know, somebody put out these crazy stats that Kevin Durant had joined some club where there was only 7.
The LeBron stats is what they call them.
And it was like, okay, he's done that 6 times now. It was like 30 points and 20 rebounds and 10 assists. And he's joined a club of guys that have done that, and LeBron had done it 6 times. And here's the list. Mm-hmm. It was Wilt number 1 with he had done it 27 times. Well, and second place was 10.
Wilt should have his own record book.
That's right.
Just take all of Wilt's out of the actual record book and put him in his own, and then everyone else can compete for the other stuff.
That tells you though how great he was.
Or that he was playing against people my height.
Nope, everybody else was too.
This isn't the day for that conversation.
No wait. Wilt Chamberlain was the greatest athlete who ever played in the NBA. Including today.
If you're having a conversation with Don Harris, don't mention Wilt Chamberlain. You'll be on a different tangent for about an hour.
Wilt Chamberlain's the only guy you can put in a time machine from back then, come to today's modern times, and he would still be first team All-NBA.
So, Travis,
he would.
I get it. You and I have had this conversation multiple times. So while the conversation about Patrick Mahomes being the GOAT might be a little early, I don't think it's too early to say that Travis Kelce might be.
Okay.
Is it if he wins again?
Tony Gonzalez.
This will be his 3rd. Yep. Tony never won one. Antonio Gates never won one.
Yeah, he's really good.
I think Gronk has 4. I think Gronk has 4. Who else is in that conversation? Shannon Sharp's not in that conversation. Jimmy Graham's not in that conversation.
Kellen Winslow,
maybe. But I think Travis is better than that.
Yeah.
I think right now it's
Tony Gonzalez is the first. I think he's the greatest tight end of all time.
Travis is going to end his career if he plays another 2. Let's say
he just broke Jerry Rice's record.
I know. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. he's breaking receiver records.
He's got to be there.
He's if not
plus
he's in the top 3.
Plus, all the Swifties are going to vote for him.
That was my next. I have that coming up. Overall, when you look at this Chiefs team, you look at this Chiefs dynasty, it's like I don't understand people who bet against them. I don't understand people who look at them and be like, you know what, they're going to lose this week. It's like betting against prime Tom Brady.
And now it's magnified because you got all the nuts like Clay Travis going against them because of what's her name,
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
So that's up next. Taylor Swift, obviously, if you looked at Twitter or TikTok or social media or anything, if you looked at pretty much any social media, you saw the kiss between her and Travis. You saw her in the booth. You see her all the time. To sports fans in general, because to me, I don't really care because my wife's a Swiftie and I pretty much know everything there is to know about Taylor Swift now, even though I don't want to. Do you think this is good or bad for
great. It's great for the NFL.
Is it good or bad for sports fans in general, though?
It's great. I don't get the hate for Taylor Swift coming from these comments that are idiot from like Tony Dungy and Clay Travis. And I know it's based on the fact that that she has said some negative things about Trump. And so that's why they hate her. But why hate her? Like she's a sports fan. Like, who cares? Like, I give the Taylor Swift stuff no thoughts whatsoever. I don't know her music, so I can't say that it's good or bad. I don't listen to it, but she seems like a nice girl. He seems like a nice guy. That has nothing to do with the football for me.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to watch the football, and if they show a cutaway of her, it's not going to fingernails on a chalkboard for me. It's just another cutaway.
Well, this is the thing I don't get is everybody's like, oh, they keep showing her. Oh, she wants to be shown. She doesn't. Like,
So
I
what?
guarantee you, if she doesn't get shown one time in the Super Bowl, she will be more happy. Like,
Did people get
I don't
mad?
understand why people get pissed off at all of this. I don't get it.
Did people get mad at Sister Jean when Loyola Marymount made the Final Four
100%.
and they showed her all the time?
Well, I mean, she wasn't dating the superstar.
It doesn't matter. They showed her. She became a story bigger than Loyola Marymount or Loyola of Chicago. Who cares? It's Sister Jean. It's a sidebar story. It's a sidebar. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't affect the game.
Yeah, and when it's annoying to sports fans, I think it was Al Michaels who said that. He was just like, it's enough. We don't have to do the sideshow. We shouldn't be airing the sideshow. We should be airing the game. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess
it helps the league.
I guess I could understand if they're showing her after every single play, but it's like when Travis does something, you show his loved ones. She is his loved one. If it was someone else, if it was just some nobody,
they would show the family.
They would show the family. It's the same thing.
Tom Garrick, a member of Rhode Island, had a great NCAA tournament. His dad was blind and was in the stands. And every time he did something good, they showed his dad in the stands. Mm-hmm. It's like, it just drives me nuts. It's just one of the stories. And guess what, folks? It's really good for football. Let me tell you a quick story. I came into work the other day, and I was early because I was working on something, and there were these people sitting out in the lobby of our TV station. And there were two little 4 or 5-year-old girls with these women. And the little girls were wearing red T-shirts that said Taylor something, right? And I said, hey, welcome. Are you guys Swifties? And the little girls would go, yes, whatever. And I was like, nice to see y'all, whatever. And I walked in and worked. And about an hour later, our receptionist brings the moms and the little girls through the station on a tour. And they said, can they get a picture with you? And I said, sure. They said, Don Harris is the sports guy, whatever. And I said, do you guys are Swifties? Yeah. I said, do you guys like football? We love football now. We know. And they began to tell me all about the Chiefs, all about Travis Kelce, all about stuff that they have known in their life for about 6 weeks. And they will never miss a Chiefs game again. And neither will the moms because of this relationship.
Yep.
It's bringing people to football. What's not to love about it?
It's so good for the game. Like, it's making it so this podcast and podcasts like ours and content like the stuff that we make is going to be listened by not just primarily men, but primarily women at a certain point. If you continue to talk about the Chiefs, if you continue to talk about football, which they are now coming to. It's creating a whole new brand of sports fan. And how is that a bad thing? Just because they show Taylor maybe a little bit too much. Even she doesn't want to be seen. You could read her lips the other night, like, please stop. Yeah, like you could see it. It's just so annoying.
And I'm not
when people
defending
do that.
her. I don't know anything about her.
But also,
I don't care about her politics. I don't care about anything. It's not hurting the NFL. So when you see all these tweets from people bashing Mahomes and Kelce and the rest of the Chiefs, saying they were paper tigers and all that stuff, the Ravens are going to kill them, all based on your hate for Taylor Swift, that's just insane.
Yeah. I mean, and you also see, I think it was Taylor in the Washington Post article that she did, or Washington Post interview that she did. She's like, I was missing out on football for 30 years. Like, I didn't know what I was missing because now she's dating Travis. Now she understands what football is and actually likes it.
I don't get it.
I don't understand that. Let's get to the.
It's like the people who aren't watching Wemby right now. They're not watching the Spurs and Wemby and what he's doing, historically great rookie season of all time, because they disagree with Pop on the political issue.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Let's get to Niners-Lions before we get to Wemby. So Niners won 34-31. The Lions were up 24-7 at halftime. And just here's the game.
Well, yeah.
How much of this loss is on Dan Campbell? Because you have pretty much 3 decisions that a couple worked out, a couple didn't. One of them was 7:03 left in the third quarter. You're up by 14. 4th and 2 at San Francisco's 28. Josh Reynolds drops the ball.
Poor Josh.
7:32 left in the fourth. 4th and 3. San Francisco's 30. Lions are down 3.
Third down, though, Josh drops the ball too.
Yes. And then Lions are down 3. Incomplete on 4th down. You're down by 3.
Where were they?
San Francisco's 30-yard line. That's a 47-yard field goal.
You kick both those field goals, you win the game.
Yes. And then later on the last drive of the game, it's 4th and goal. You're down by 10. You need 2 scores. Why are you going for it? Like, the game is over if you miss it. They got the touchdown. Lucky them. But the game is over. Just kick the field goal. Also, if you get to the 30-yard line on that drive.
I disagree with you on that one.
Why?
Because you need an onside kick. And it's harder to go the length of the field to get a touchdown than it is to get a field goal. You're knocking on the door, get the touchdown there, and then kick the field goal after the onside kick with time running down. You may not have enough time to get all the way down into.
But here's what I would have done is when they ran out of bounds at like the 15, 16, the clock was stopped. They still had all 3 timeouts. I would have kicked the field goal on first down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would have kicked the field goal on first down. Then you're down 1. Then you have 1:16 left.
You still have
all
to
3
get an
timeouts.
onside kick, which is
You don't
4%.
have to at that point.
What?
You wouldn't have to at that point.
Oh, I get you.
You have all 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
You don't have to kick the onside kick. You
Yeah.
take that completely out of it. But here's the thing: they were down by 3 points because they didn't kick the freaking field goal with 7:32 left or 7:03 left.
Yeah.
Like, take the points.
I get it. But, and I'm not going to defend him because here's the thing. I would say that Dan Campbell is right in his philosophy because that's what got him there. And he rolled the bones all season like that. But when you're playing that far ahead and you have to come back from so far down if you're San Francisco, that adding just another 3 really helps in there because they're trying to climb to come back to.
You just need points.
You just need another 3. Now, if it's a close game, you're down, it's a tie game. But when you're up 17, just take 3 more. Every time you get a chance, just take 3 more. And I think that was so contrary to his philosophy of what they did all year. Remember the Cowboys game? They rolled the bones and lost.
Yeah, they should have won, but yeah.
But they could have gone to overtime.
Yep.
But he's always, ride or die with that. And the analytics now sometimes tell you to do that too. But as that game was happening, I'm saying I'm like you. I'm saying take the 3. I hate second guessing that stuff because the ball was right in Josh's hands on that first one.
Yeah. He was a little behind him, but he should have caught it.
He should have caught it.
Yeah. So, to me, I just feel bad for Detroit Lions fans. They've been waiting for decades, generations for this, and it goes down like that. Like, you're up 17. But they missed so many opportunities. They left 4 points on the field when Jared Goff missed a wide open Jahmyr Gibbs right before halftime, had to settle for the field goal before half. You're only up 24-7 instead of 28-7. Then you don't go for the field goal. You don't go for the field goal, and then you lost the game right there.
This is what I tweeted my buddies in our little group text at halftime. All Lion fans with PTSD right now because they fully expect the Lions to lose. It would be the most Lion thing ever.
It was. It was
when it was 27-10.
And I want to give Dan Campbell his props because I love Dan Campbell.
I love him.
I would have him coach my team any day of the week. Love him. But you got to know when not to do it. He reminds me he's a rich man's Brandon Staley. He showed
his inexperience in huge games. That's a decision that has to be made before you ever walk onto the field. And I think maybe it was.
I think it was.
Yeah, because that's just the way they roll.
Yeah.
But that's the wrong decision.
I feel bad for Lions fans. They've been through everything. And I love Dan Campbell, and I hope they get back next year. But he said it after the game. It's harder to get back than it is to do it for the first time.
Yeah.
It's harder to come for.
I'll be rooting for him.
Yeah, me too. But that sets up, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about Chiefs-Niners. It sets up the Chiefs-Niners game. It's a rematch of the 2020 Super Bowl. Chiefs won 31-20. I saw something really funny last night. It was like last time the Chiefs and Niners played, the rest of the year really sucked.
2020.
2020. They played in February of 2020, and then the rest of the year really
COVID hit
sucked.
Right after that.
So Chiefs won that one 31-20. The line opened. I found this really, really interesting. We don't have to talk about it a lot, but I found it really interesting that the line opened at 2.5 in favor of the 49ers with an over-under of 47. The line dropped pretty much instantaneously. Like within an hour and a half, the line dropped to 1.
I don't know why the Chiefs aren't favored. Give me the Chiefs.
I'll be surprised if that doesn't close as a pick 'em, because it's just how do you not favor the Chiefs at this point?
Yeah, give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. I lean Chiefs as well. So let's talk Spurs real quick before we get out of here. The Spurs are hot or lukewarm. They have a 2-game winning streak. They've won 3 out of 5, which sadly is like the highlight of the season because it's been so bad. But they're starting to play a lot better. I mean, they just beat the number 2 team in the West, the Timberwolves, on Saturday. Wemby called it the best game they've had, or the best win they've had. Do you think they're finally turning a corner?
They don't have the talent on this roster to turn the corner. But I've found a way for Spurs fans to look at this season that is, you can bang your head against the wall all you want when you look at the records and the standings. And you could have done that early in the season when they were 40-point blowouts. They're never going to win until they have a number 2 better than Devin or Jeremy. And that will come in a trade at some point. They'll get a Devin Booker or a Trae Young or name somebody. They, like Durant went to Phoenix. They will trade for a big guy to play with Wemby and win championships. They're not going to spend that draft capital now because Wemby's not ready to win. This kid is learning. Now, the good news is he's learning quickly.
He's amazing.
Improving. My son sent me this thing. His estimated plus minus is first in the league and the best rookie by far in the last 25 years. His metrics per 36, he's only playing 25 minutes a game. He's phenomenal. He's Jordan, he's LeBron, he's all those things. It's just early yet. Remember Kobe's rookie year. He averaged 8 points a game. Remember Kawhi's rookie year. He averaged about 8 points a game. This kid is it. They're not going to win because they don't have enough around him. But the beauty in the season is to watch him improve and to do your own evaluation of guys. Like right now for me, Jeremy Sohan is the guy that I go back and forth on. Like not going to re-up him. He's going somewhere else. And all of a sudden he shows me, holy cow.
Friday night.
Maybe I'm jumping the gun here because he has some raw ability. But if you watch the games and you watch the season like that, they're really fun to watch. They're really going to improve. Everybody outside of those 3, I mean, Keldon is – I think we know what Keldon is.
I think Keldon's going to be traded.
I think we know what Keldon is by now. And I love Keldon. I think he's great for the team and his attitude and all that. I don't know how great a player he is. But it's evaluating right now. That's what they're doing. They're evaluating everybody. Wemby is off the charts. Like week to week, he gets so much better. And his basketball IQ, like he dropped off a little dime to Jeremy at the end of that T-Wolves game that Jeremy fumbled. And I think there was a foul call or something. Mm-hmm. But it was like the passing of this guy, the length, everything that he's got, his stocks, steals and blocks combined. He's like second place is 3.5, third place is 3.46, fourth place is like 3.33. He's at like 4.5. He's a
4.2.
4.2. Completely way. It might as well be 100 points over the next guy.
I mean, Wemby's going to he's going to win the Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's going to average a double-double. He's going to average a double-double. He's going to average probably the most blocks in the league because I think he's at 3.1 right now. He's averaging 20, 10, and 3. He's averaging – I mean, he's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
But when you look at the season as a whole, I think you're right that now it's not about winning anymore. It's about figuring out who's going to be on this team.
That's all it is.
Yeah, and I think at the beginning when they were like, we're trying to win this year, it gave everyone some false expectation of what this season was going to be because last year they didn't win, and it didn't seem like they wanted to win.
That was the miscalculation because they said we're going to try to win, and they thought that Jeremy Sohan at the point was going to be
the game changer.
How they were going to win, which they totally miscalculated.
Yep.
Had they had another month of camp and known they were going to play this way, they wouldn't be 10 and 37. They would be 500.
They'd be closer to that, yeah.
I think so. I think that experiment was such a disaster when they had no idea what they were doing and they were getting blown out by 40 and they were getting frustrated and lost 15 in a row or whatever it was. This is a completely different team 2 weeks later.
I mean, you come out and start 3-2 and then you go on a 24-game losing streak. It came out, gave some false hope, and then it was just
no, it wasn't 24, was it?
Something like that.
No.
What was? Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure. It was something like
16.
that. Oh, stop. No, it wasn't. It reached 20.
No.
Hold on. We're about to find this out.
No.
It was bad, Don.
I remember it was bad. I don't think it was 20. 17 tops.
No. Stop. I'm not looking it up right now.
I'm going to look it up because this is going to kill me. Go ahead, talk.
Go ahead, talk. All right, I'm going to finish up my my Taylor Swift point real quick because Luis just sent me this. Our extraordinary engineer
over there in the warm jacket,
operations manager over here. That he looks like he's in an igloo. Taylor Swift has generated an equivalent brand value of $331.5 million for the Chiefs in the NFL.
She's done what?
She has accumulated or generated a brand value for the NFL and the Chiefs of the equivalent of $331 million.
Wow.
So anyone who is doing all those crappy things and talking crap about her or making the AI generated porn of her that's been on Twitter and on social media,
it was 16.
It was not 16.
16.
F you is what I was going to say. Because, y'all are in it.
AI generated porn?
Room. Yes,
that's awful.
There's a special room in hell for people like that. So, anyway, it's not 16.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was 18.
It
wasn't 21. 24 is what you said.
Yeah, it just seems like it blends together at that point.
Anyway. I
Anyway.
said it wasn't 20.
All right, let me get this from you then. There's 36 games left in the season, including tonight against the Wizards. How many do they finish with?
36 left?
36 left, if my math is correct.
They go 14 and 22.
So that you have them wrapping up with 24 wins.
Yeah.
I think that there's a reasonable expectation that they could be 500. I think they could be 18 and 18 in the
rest of the way.
In the rest of the way, because
I believe that
they're going to lose 3 in a row, then they might win 3 in a row.
I believe that.
Also depending on what they do at the deadline. Who's gone? It's going to be McDermott.
It doesn't matter.
It's going to be McDermott. It's going to be Chetty.
They're not going to get anybody who can help them.
No, they're not. But it depends on how many games are you going to win the rest of the year?
Yeah.
If you lose McDermott, you lose Chetty, maybe even Keldon. You
at
trade
some
all
point
three
you want to make sure that you get a number 1 pick again, or number 2 pick.
I'm not even a Spurs fan, and I just don't even want draft picks anymore. I just want wins. I want to talk about a winning team.
Draft picks help you get a better player.
Yeah, tell that to Danny Ainge, who just stockpiles them and doesn't do anything with them.
I don't know. Look what happened with Phoenix. They traded him for Kevin Durant.
And Bradley Beal.
Look at Minnesota. They traded him for Rudy Gobert.
God, that was a horrible trade.
I don't know. They're looking pretty good.
Yeah, except for the other night.
Yeah. Boy, that ant can really play.
Anthony Edwards is phenomenal.
Ooh, he's good.
Not as good as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but pretty good.
They're both really good.
All right. Well, let's stop rambling. Let's
go. I gotta go.
That's it for you on this edition of the Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast. Remember to download, rate, review, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, tell a friend, tell an enemy.
Listen to me. I'm saying we gotta go, and I'm yakking.
Yeah, right. You're the one trying to count up losses here.
18.
We'll see you right back here on Thursday. Chuck will be back then. Until then, everybody have a good week.
Peace.